Hello everyone, welcome to day 97 of Project 365. Today I'm going to be doing something called Portrait of an Atheist. It was a tag game introduced into the atheist community, and it sort of disappeared, and I don't see why, because quite frankly it was a great way to get people involved into doing videos, because, well, most individuals had apprehension towards making a video because either A, they didn't want to sound stupid, or B, something they knew a lot about. There had already been a bunch of videos made on it, and so it would just sort of be beating a dead horse. That being said, here is Portrait of an Atheist. Number 1. Capital punishment. Personally, when it comes to capital punishment, I think I disagree with it, but not for the typical reasons. I disagree with capital punishment because it's a statist revenge sort of thing. Basically, the state is killing someone for killing someone, and that's revenge, and it's not that I don't agree with revenge, but I don't agree with a government coming in and dictating revenge. I think that if the person who, if someone was affected by the death of someone and they killed the murderer, I think that they should be able to go scot-free because, well, quite frankly, I know it's an eye for an eye, but nonetheless, I think that they shouldn't be held responsible for that. Sure, they killed someone, but at the same time, they're just getting revenge, and I think that one person getting their own revenge is the lesser of two evils when it comes to a government getting revenge for someone else. Issue number 2, abortion. I've already made a video about abortion, so I will just keep it simple and say that I think that abortion should be legal. I don't think it's right that the government has the ability to tell women what they can or cannot do with their bodies. There's already been evidence provided that demonstrates that a fetus isn't exactly living, and especially in the early stages when it's merely a zygote or a blasphere, that it's totally fine. It should totally be okay for an abortion to occur, because at that point it doesn't even resemble a human being. And yeah, so definitely legalized abortion. Number 3 is drug laws. I have already done a video for legalizing pot. However, after deep thought about this, I've actually contemplated doing this video for a while, and so I've actually sat down and thought about the issues. I think that it should be legalized across the board, mostly because we're spending way too much tax dollars on this war on drugs. Reagan was incredibly stupid, although that's a given. It's Reagan. But he was incredibly stupid in declaring a war on drugs, because it's a war that will never end. People will always do whatever it takes to get their next fix, and so fighting in a war that doesn't end is kind of stupid on our part, because it's a war you can't win. By legalizing it across the board, you allow the ability to battle mobs, gangs, drug cartels, etc., etc., by leaving drugs out to the open market price. People will no longer be interested in going to the black market because it's available in the open market and it's subject to supply and demand. Because of that, if a government sets the prices too high, no one will buy, so they'll be dictated to drive the prices lower, etc., etc. Greater demand calls for greater supply, which could be a good or a bad thing, depending, but the government would essentially set up its own monopoly, and that would actually generate great amounts of revenue for the government, which would actually probably help with this economic situation. So that's that on drug laws. Issue number 4 is gay rights. If you don't know where I stand on this, you obviously haven't been watching me for long. But I think at this point in our civilization, in our society, it's sad that people still are fighting for their rights. I think terms like women's rights or gay rights or black rights or Mexican rights, etc., are ridiculous in the sense that, do we really need to call them that? Why can't we say human rights? And in that regard, why can't we as a society come together and allow everyone equal rights, instead of having to allow some people some rights and other people other rights? And why can't we just create a unified law and rights program type thing that guarantees every person, no matter their creed, color, race, orientation, religious background, political ideologies, no matter what they believe in, that they should be guaranteed rights. That's what we as a country set out to do back in the late 1700s. It's what we tried to establish in the Constitution. However, there are some issues now that weren't exactly issues back then, and it's something we need to work out, because quite frankly it's sickening that people are still fighting for their rights. And lastly, the last topic is economics. I'm personally a capitalist. I believe in the supply and demand argument for an economy. I feel that there should be limited government involvement, because quite frankly, when a government imposes taxes or they create a price ceiling or price floor, they often stifle economic growth, and I think that is part of the reason why we're in such a situation that we are today, because people try to break the system, and because of that, they broke the economy. What I mean by they tried to break the system is they tried to get around the government instead of not having to worry about the government. Inflation and unemployment are easily cured through supply and demand. Basically, if there's high levels of unemployment, what'll happen is it'll drive prices down. And also force employers to hire more people, because there's a greater demand for goods, but there aren't as many people producing goods, etc., blah blah blah. And then inflation will go down because employers or firms will be forced to drive the prices down because no one will purchase the good. Anyway, it's all easily solved within a free economy, and living in a mixed economy is kind of silly, but at the same time it works because it establishes workers' rights, etc. And yeah, so that would pretty much be it on economics. And that is it. So basically I just had to tackle 5 issues. I wish I could have gotten more in depth, but I'm kind of in a hurry, so that explains why I talk so fast and use the phrase etc., a lot. And for that I apologize, because normally I like to go in depth with my descriptions of things. But anyway, yes. So question of the day, how do you feel about one of the topics I tackled? So give me your opinions on economics, on gay rights, on abortion, on capital punishment, or on drug laws. So yes, that is it for today, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.